Hi, my name is Sydney Johnson. I'm a sophomore student at Spelman College studying economics, and the core principle that drives how I think about creating positive change is intentionality, specifically being intentional about where I direct my attention, my time, and eventually capital. Every day, I take the train from Midtown Atlanta, where I live, which is more developed and widely perceived as safe, down to the West End, where Spelman College is located. From the station, I walk to campus. And before coming to Spelman, I was exposed to a very specific narrative about the West End, that it was dangerous and not the place to be, and the people there reflected that. But my daily experience walking through there has actually been the direct opposite. What I really see is an underrepresented community filled with people who are building and creating. I pass a man who owns a Jamaican restaurant, there's a Black-owned health grocery store centered around wellness and knowledge, and there's many more businesses right outside of Spelman's gates that remain largely unseen because of the narrative around being outside of Spelman's gates. Now, that contrast made me realize what actually shapes communities isn't just reality, it's perception, and perception influences where people choose to spend time, attention, and money. So for me, creating positive change starts with challenging that first layer. Right now, I do that by being very intentional about where I show up, so I support these businesses and I share them with others in my community, in my circle, because attention is the beginning of investment. Now, long term, I want to create or build a career in finance to understand how capital flows and how risk and perception influence where money moves. My goal is to eventually build a firm that invests in small businesses like the ones I see every day in the West End. Businesses that already have value but lack visibility and access to capital. But more importantly, I want that work to be rooted in collaboration, partnering with people who are already in those communities, incorporating their perspectives, and building a way that enhances what exists rather than trying to replace it. To me, that's really how you create spaces that are not only economically stronger, but more fulfilling for the people who live there. In that perspective, the gap between narrative and reality is what continues to shape how I move and define impact. Thank you.